Well, greetings, everyone. My name is Mensah Wali. I'm the artistic director for Kente Arts Alliance. And today I'm sitting here with Mr. Gregg Harris-Bey, drummer in the Pittsburgh community. And we're going to just have a little discussion about things past, present, and future in terms of this music we call jazz here in Pittsburgh. So greetings, Gregory.
Glad to be.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us something about your history. You said you're a drummer. You were a drummer.
Yeah, I don't do much with it anymore, but I the way that I even got interested in playing music was I probably was about 17, and my sister's was this boyfriend who became her husband talked to me one time, and he said that he was taking drum lessons, and he asked me did I want to learn. And I wasn't really, it wasn't something that I even thought about, was playing music. But anyway, I wasn't doing anything better. So I told him that he told me when he was taking lessons, and he would take his lesson, and then he would come back and he would teach me what he learned. So I said that was fine, and that's basically how I got started learning just with what they call a drum. They called it at that time anyway. I don't know if they call it now. Well, a drum pad, and doing the drum exercises, learning the rudiments, and just the basics. And I got very much interested in it, and asked my father would he get me a drum kit, and it took a period of time for him to agree to do it, because I was at the time young, and he wasn't sure that I was going to follow through with it. And he told me that if he brought these drums, that I better play them.
There you go.
So so that's really how I got started with my brother-in-law, and he had two friends, and they were all interested in playing jazz, and one of them, his name was Vern, and he was interested in the drums, and my brother-in-law was interested in drums. And Vern, he had a job at a bakery at that time, and so he was able to purchase albums.
Oh,
So yeah, we would go to his house, and he would get all the latest albums, and we would listen, and they would tell me to listen to the drums and things like that, and that's how I learned. But I learned basically I'll say in the street. I learned just
by listening.
by listening. Yeah.
So how old were you when you first got your set of drums?
I was probably 18.
18 years
Yeah.
old. All right. Very good. Yeah. So you had listening sessions with your friends and Vern and others. And who were you listening to at that time?
We were listening to drummers and groups of drummers. We were listening to Art Blakey, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Elvin Jones, Max Roach, Roy Haynes, Charlie Purcell, and Louis Hayes. He was a little slightly younger than them, I believe. But
For sure.
yeah, yeah, he was somewhat younger than them. But he was one of the drummers that was coming along, and we just listened to all of the drummers in the groups, and we would go down to the Crawford Grill at the time. At the time, they had matinees, and if you weren't 21, you couldn't come into the in the evening. So even in the we'd go to the matinees, but even in the evening, sometimes they had well, you know what the place was like, and they had the stage to set up on the stage, and there was a door there, and we would stand outside in the back of the door and listen to the music, because the drummer set up back. He usually set up in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So, who was some of your favorite drummers other than the ones you mentioned? I mean, your personal, who'd you admire?
Personally, I would say, well, I'll start from drummers here in Pittsburgh. Well, the one, and he was a major teacher of mine, and his name was, well, he was known by Beaver Harris.
I know Beaver
But,
well.
All right, all right. I guess his name was Bill, but nevertheless, he was a very a good influence on my learning to play the drums, and from the standpoint of the techniques and things, he was very helpful to me.